Hi guys, it's Mitch here. I'm just coming on to do a YouTube monthly, like 12-month, sort of 2022 guidance reading. It's really weird because I'm doing this on my Facebook portal because I couldn't get a very good picture off of my laptop, and my iPhone is struggling to sort of hold enough storage because it's going to be quite a long video. So I'm not sure which bit of the screen I'm meant to be looking in. I'm thinking I'm meant to be looking at this camera here. So that's where I'm going to aim to be looking. So apologies if my eyes go a little bit wild and a little bit all over the place because it's probably going to look a bit strange. But yeah, just coming on to do the 12-month yearly guidance reading. I didn't do one last year, I don't think, because everything was just a bit hectic and a bit mad. But I wanted to try and get on top of it this year and do one for you guys, just so that you can use it and you can look back over it, and it can be a little gift from me that can help you moving forward for those that might need it. So I've channeled into the power of the tarot. So what we'll do, we'll sort of run through each of the months. Now, because this is a collective reading, obviously, please bear in mind that your own free will play quite a big part in, obviously, terms of maybe what evolves and what happens. Obviously, by law, I have to just mention that readings are for entertainment and experimentational purposes only. Just get all the legal stuff out the way. Obviously, if you want a more bespoke or a more in-depth reading for you personally, then you can drop me a message, and we can book something in either on Zoom, Facebook video chat. And I do also do these 12-month voice recorded email readings via the shop page of my website, as well as loads of other fabulous bits and pieces. So if you wanted to sort of check that out, please do. But yeah, so let's just roll with it. Let's see what we've got to look forward to, and hopefully this will help make sense for some of you lovelies. So we're going to start with January and like literally run through the year. Now, because I'm using my Facebook portal, sometimes this will move around. It tries to sort of constantly adjust and everything, but it is quite a nice sort of picture when it's working properly. Hence, I wanted to sort of work with this really. So hopefully you'll enjoy this, and it just will help. Okay, so as we're going into January time, then we're going into the five. Oops, you can see that, the five of Pentacles. So the Five of Pentacles is all about sort of. Oh, is that? Can you see that the right way around? Is that coming up the right way around? No, it's not, is it? Hang on, I'm just gonna sort of like be really cheeky and see if I can change. Does this let me? Oh, hang on. Let me just go into settings. I just want to see if camera. I wanted to just see. Nope, that's not going to do. I think I'm better off leaving that because I might actually start messing up if I start to muck around too much. I was just going to see if I could twist it round so that you can see. Normally, there's a way to sort of control how you see. Oh, hang on. This might be it. Let's just see. Ah, that's what I was looking for. Okay, now you should. Five Pentacles. Yes, you can read it. Brilliant. That's much better. Even though it looks like I've shunted over to this side now. Ah, right. Let me move over. That's not even going to work, is it? I need to move this way. Ah, I would be no good on television. You can tell that. I'd be rubbish. I'd be like, which screen do I bloody look at? Okay, let's just do this. It was just really bugging me because the cards were being shown back to front, and that was really confusing me. Okay, so as we're going into January, we're going into the Five of Pentacles. So Five of Pentacles is basically suggesting and saying some of you or some of us might have been up against some financial disruption, or a little bit of bit of a management program. Finances for a lot of us this year definitely have been a little bit bounced around with, a bit back and forth. And perhaps you've been somebody that's sort of suffered or taken a little bit of a hit financially. I know a lot of people have had sort of changes in their jobs, hours cut. In some cases they've lost jobs, particularly those that are self-employed have had to make massive changes to their business. So there may have been sort of complications financially that you've been up against. Now, what's great with this card is if you've been sort of a little bit disrupted financially, this big flower is coming in to kind of gift you the pentacles. So it's sort of saying money's going to start to release itself energetically. Things are going to start to flow. They're going to start to move forward. But it's really important to adjust your awareness because we've got the sort of mother and child being cradled in the card. there's an indication there that maybe you're so focused on keeping everything afloat and keeping everything comfortable that sometimes perhaps we're not seeing the changes that are evolving around us. So there is a need to sort of expand your vision slightly and look past any initial problems or obstacles or hurdles. This is also, as well as sort of about finances, this is also about your kind of connection, the emotional attachment that you hold with money as well. So again, if you've just been quite fearful of financial changes or disruptions, again, emotionally, it's saying things are going to be released, things are going to start to come good for you. So there's going to be a new flow of energy, which is quite nice to have because that sets the sort of tone for the year ahead. Now, as we're kind of moving into February time, we're going into the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is a card of really encouraging you to make peace with everything in your life. Obviously, it's cups, so it's emotional, but you know, this person here is just sort of taking a rest, taking a breather, and they're looking at the truth of everything, and they're lining all of their cups up. And basically, what this is sort of suggesting and saying as we move into February time, this is about walking away, letting go of anything kind of emotionally that doesn't hold purpose, value, anything that doesn't bring you happiness, anything that disrupts or destroys your sacred space or your inner peace, whether it's physical people, circumstances, or situations. It's letting it kind of go so that you can actively move forward. We've got the moon coming in here as well at the top of this card, and the moon wants to clear, it wants to cleanse, it wants to revitalize and add new hope, new magic, and new purpose. And it's revealing and it's exposing a new path, a new road. So there is a new pathway, there is new adventures, there are new roads to sort of to walk and travel, but it's feeling confident, it's feeling brave enough to leave any sort of hurt, hardships, frustrations, or just limitations behind. And it's almost giving yourself that complete acceptance, that complete permission to move forward, to sort of walk the next stage or phase of your life, even if certain people perhaps aren't sort of walking with you, if you've had to maybe remove or let go of a few people, or just make some sort of changes to keep your own emotional well-being safe. It's doing what's required, basically. But it is no more sort of compromising, no more hurting, no more making do. It's letting those things be, letting those things go, and continuing to sort of shine your best light. And the moon I always see as like a torch in times of darkness or in times of uncertainty. So this might feel a bit scary or a bit fearful for some of you to travel into new energy, but it's really needed, you know. So really sort of hold space and just actively put your best foot forward. Now, as we're moving into March time, March takes us into the card of strength. I love the card of strength because it's very powerful, and there's a couple of aspects to it. Now, it might be that as you sort of make these changes, or as you sort of, you know, actively move forward with your life, it might be a bit scary, it might be a bit exhausting at times. But what I love about the card of strength is whatever hurdles, obstacles, or challenges you face or you find yourself up against, the card of strength is all about finding a way to overcome a problem. So whereas some people get sort of stuck or get a bit defeated, we don't have that here with March time. March is about actively finding the way to overcome the hurdle, the problem, or the block that perhaps you find yourself up against or going through. It's also about, again, identity. The card of strength is authentic, it's real, it's living life on your format, on your terms, even if other people don't share the focus, the dream, the goal, or the vision. But she's been able in this card to tame the beast, to tame the lion, to tame the problem that she might have been going through or up against. So obviously, because we're looking at this collectively, it's hard to say what this situation or subject matter might be. And obviously, as you piece it in your world, you'll know where this sits and where this lies for you. But if you feel a bit sort of blocked or limited, it's knowing and trusting that you have an inner power, you have an inner magic within you that can override, that can overcome whatever the immediate situation is that you're going through or that you're up against, so you can come out on top. It might be exhausting, it might be draining sometimes to feel like you constantly have to be that strong one, and maybe sometimes you might battle with that a little bit. Sorry, I can see that there's a little bit of a loose eyelash or an eyebrow or something. It keeps catching the light. It's really annoying me. But I just know that with this you have the way to overcome the problem. It's remembering with the card of strength. So remember in March, use this as a mantra that you you are stronger than the challenge, the obstacle, or whatever you're facing. You can overcome it, because that's the great thing with the card of strength. There's nothing it can't sort of move past. There's no limitation too big, you know, it can still be corrected. Now, by doing that and holding that focus and that vision, we're going into April time, and this takes us into a card of real balance, real hope, real celebration. Four of Wands awaits us. To me, Four of Wands is a card of stability, strength, a really, really firm sort of foundation for everything to grow and to build upon. It usually is perceived as a card of sort of happy family energy. The fruits of your love, of your labor, of your work, whatever you've been sort of investing in, is all kind of coming good. We've got this lovely angel of protection sort of looking down over the situation, but we've got this lovely wreath of victory with all the fruits kind of just out, and they've grown and they've sort of, you know, flourished, and we've got the lovely big sort of home here. So if there have been sort of changes within a sort of home dynamic, it could be for some of you, you may be wanting to buy and sell or move, then it could well be that there's some positive changes there. It could also be that maybe some of you have started new businesses, new jobs, or just feeling more contented in existing jobs. It's all about balance. It's about structure. It's about stability. It's a very grounded, earth-based kind of card. It's offering you a lot of sort of structure that you can build upon. And it's remembering that if the foundations of something are in place in the beginning stages, things have a habit of being able to sort of be worked upon quite quickly. So there's long-term success as well as immediate success with this. So April's looking to be pretty happy, pretty hopeful for a lot of us. Now, as we're kind of moving into sort of May time, we're going into the energy of the Hermit. When we go into the energy of the Hermit card, there's nothing necessarily like bad or wrong, but sometimes the Hermit needs to just pull back from the world. Sometimes the world can be a little bit strange, a little bit exhausting. And obviously, you know, we're not sure what's going to be happening in terms of like COVID and all of that stuff. And I don't really want to bring that into this reading too much if I can help it. But the Hermit card is needing to maybe slow down a little bit, just gather your thoughts, just gather your bearings, and take that needed sort of healing time for you. So this might be a month for some of you where you decide to have a little holiday or a little bit of a rest period from work. It could be for some of you that life is just feeling quite overwhelming. Maybe a lot of changes have happened quite quickly and you're needing to just make some adjustments. And if that's the case, the Hermit is encouraging you and giving you that kind of permission and acceptance to do that. What is great with the Hermit is when you need to take a rest, when you need to take a breather, when you need to gather your thoughts, you can pull back, you can retract from the world, and it doesn't have to be in a negative way. But because he's holding sort of the lantern of truth in this kind of card, I don't know if you can see that too well, when you feel ready to sort of walk the pathway of life once more, you can actively do it and put your best foot forward. So it might just be that some of you need a rest as we get to this point. And it's very probable, to be honest, with things that have been happening this year, that might sort of follow through a little bit. So it could just be a little bit of a rest. It could be a time period as well where you need to maybe just check your inputs and outputs, scan your body, check where you're feeding your energy to, and make sure that everything is working comfortably for you. If you're feeling drained or burnt out by anything, there could be a little bit of sort of balancing and readjusting that maybe is required there. So just be kind of aware of that. But as a rule, it's just needing to take a rest and a breather. It could be that maybe some of you have done a lot of peopling over the previous months, and maybe you're a little bit exhausted by people, and maybe you're just needing to pull back a little bit from that, because, you know, people can be lovely, but sometimes they can really drain us, they can really exhaust us in equal measure. So there's a few aspects to that kind of card. But whatever it kind of leads on to is going to be great, because as we're moving into June time, we're going into the Page of Swords. Page of Swords is about power, purpose, authentic energy. Literally, you've had the rest, you've had the breather here with the Hermit, and it's almost like now things are ready to get going again. So the sword is upright, you're in control of your life, you're in control of your destiny. There's a clear path, there's a clear road that's kind of coming in for you here, and you just have to walk it. The trick with the Page of Swords, I will say, is don't get distracted, because sometimes when the road is A to B, sometimes when it's quite simple and we just have to walk that journey, it's literally that. It's a case of walking the journey. But sometimes with the Page of Swords, they get a little bit distracted by things that are a little bit sort of, you know, shiny. It's almost like that magpie kind of energy. So don't be tempted to sort of venture off course, wanting to perhaps, you know, delve into different things that maybe actually aren't going to benefit you long term. Don't get distracted by things that seem quite good, because it could be that they're too good to be true and they might lead to like dead ends. Literally, sometimes the sort of the simplest journeys are actually the most prosperous, and that's really what this is encouraging. So don't get sort of caught up in side avenues. Stay focused on the bigger goal, the bigger picture of what it is you're wanting to achieve or do. And that's kind of nicely taking us into July. And as we're moving into July time, we're going into the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a card of real spiritual development. She's very magical. She's very powerful. She's very in touch with her higher self, with her higher calling. So this is going to be a really important time as we move into July to really connect, to really tap into your complete purpose. What are you here to discover? What are you here to be part of? The High Priestess is bringing in that sort of spiritual journey for some of you. So this might be quite a powerful time of self-discovery. This might be quite a powerful time where some of you perhaps have quite a lot of spiritual experiences. It could be a lot of quite a powerful time where some of you invest in yourself and maybe develop quite a bit on a spiritual level as well as a practical level. She's holding sort of this book of life, and this is her story, this is her book, and the pages are blank. So she still has time to write the story that she wants to be a part of. So if you're feeling like there's certain aspects of your life that you've outgrown or they're not sitting well with you, sometimes when the High Priestess comes in, she does come in to shake things up a little bit. And sometimes she's like perceived as almost breaking free from the demands, the sort of conditionings of the matrix system. So you might find that some of you really challenge things back with this time period. Some of you might really just invest in sort of discovering or being brave enough to show who you really are, not who society perceives or wants you to be, but who you actually are. You know, it's quite sort of brave, I think, to be real in this world, but that's really being encouraged with the High Priestess. So there's quite a lot of magic being sort of awoken internally, and other people are going to see that externally, and you probably will divide opinions. Some people will celebrate that and they'll be the ones to carry forward. There might be some people around you that don't like what you sort of tap into or what you sort of go on to sort of become, and if that's the case, those are not the people for you. Hence why we're moving into August time. We're moving into the 10 of Wands. So 10 of Wands is basically a time period of unburdening. It's a time period to let go of anything that kind of doesn't give you a positive or a high vibe experience. Now, this could be physical people, this could be circumstances or situations. It could be that there is quite a lot of toxic energy around you, and maybe you need to make some changes there. This can also be the thoughts and feelings that you carry internally. So, if you're someone that perhaps over analyzes or reflects quite a lot on the past, you know, he's got this sort of big rucksack here with 10 wands in, and it might be that sometimes you're holding on to a little bit of dead wood. So there could be things here that are actually not serving you anymore, and maybe you're a little bit scared to just let them go. So instead of like having 10 wands, you might only actually need to be carrying maybe 5 or even maybe 3. So it's about lightening your load. It's about unburdening, letting go of things. Like I say, whether it's physical people, circumstances, situations, energies that you just find yourself in, it's removing anything that limitates you, because there's a clear road here, which is the road that the sort of page of swords is on, and it's not needing to be blocked by anything. But don't allow your own sort of baggage to block or hinder where you want to be, where you want to be going. So that's quite a powerful card. That's quite an important card, actually, of making sure that you are aware of what you're holding on to and what you're carrying forward. Now, as we're moving into September time, we're going into the Eight of Wands. Eight of Wands is sometimes a card of like communication. Sometimes things maybe are happening quite quickly around you. So, you know, and this could again be externally, or it could be more personal in your world. And it's really important not to get caught up in stuff. So it's being very cautious, very mindful of how you choose to respond, how you choose to react with things, because all of these wands are shooting in quite quickly. Sometimes there could be a lot of fast changes happening like all at once, and it might feel a little bit overwhelming. But behind this, or past these wands, there's lovely open land, there's a clear flowing river, and it's almost like not losing your head, not getting too distracted, or not too caught up in the things that don't actually serve you. So have an awareness for everything, but look at things before you respond, before you react. Do you need to give that energy? Do you need to give that power? Or can you just let that wand shoot past you and just think, oh, I can't be asked with that. It doesn't actually sort of really serve me or bring me anything constructive. So it could be a time for some of you that are sensitive where you might really feel slightly overwhelmed, and it's just actively being more cautious, more aware of where you're feeding your inputs and your outputs to keep everything on your terms, really. So just be a bit kind of cautious with that. Then as we're moving into October time, we're going into the Knight of Wands. When the knights show in tarot, they always want to come in to protect, to honor, or to defend. Now, because this is the wand, it wants to protect, this knight wants to protect all of your power, all of your magic, all of the unique independent energy that you carry within you, everything that is, you know, bespoke to you as a person and your energy. And this horse is raring to get going. So again, no sacrificing, no limitating, just actively moving forward and sort of singing and dancing to the rhythm of your show, to the rhythm of your truth, and doing what makes you happy. And so this night is coming in to offer that protection, that sort of sacred space, and just to keep everything sort of flowing as you want it to be, really. So, like I say, the message kind of running throughout this year is all about staying authentic, staying true to your beliefs, and, you know, keep shining your light and really doing what makes you happy, whatever happiness is for you, because that's going to be personal for all of us. You know, my version of happy will be very different to somebody else's and another person's, but it's remembering whatever your version of happiness is, don't allow anybody to come in and take or to, you know, change that dynamic or tarnish it too much. Now, as we're moving into sort of the final two cards, November time is one to be mindful of. We're going into the sort of Five of Cups. When the Five of Cups shows, it is a card of sometimes feeling a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit kind of brought down, sometimes feeling a bit consumed emotionally with tunnel vision. So it might be a time period that connects you perhaps to anniversaries of loved ones that have passed over. Again, energetically, in terms of what was going on with COVID, I'm not sure, and other things. I don't know how that's going to be playing out so much. But definitely, this is about seeing your blessings, seeing the great things that exist within your life, and not allowing the demands of life to, you know, burden or overwhelm you, because sometimes it's quite easy to get caught up in this energy, and sometimes we feel a bit consumed in that tunnel vision, and it's moving out of that, it's seeing past the problems or the blockages, because there's still these two cups to the side, and they represent hope, they represent your blessings and all the great stuff that exists within your world. But sometimes we're so focused on, you know, something we're going through, that we just almost drop the ball on everything else, and we don't always see things for what they are. There is in the back of this card a new a bridge, and it leads to like a new castle, so there's new adventures to be had. So it's actively picking yourself back up, not staying stuck in any depression or anxiety or feelings of overwhelmment. Is actively moving forward and putting your best foot forward. And that takes us nicely into December time, which takes us into the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands is about staying upright, it's about staying balanced. You know, you might not have everything in place, not everything might be completely perfect, but it's just appreciating where you're at this journey, at this point in your life, and really celebrating and thinking, okay, you know, it's a work in progress. Life is a work in progress. Life isn't perfect. And I think anybody that sort of says otherwise is kind of kidding themselves a little bit. You know, nothing and nobody in this world is perfect. We can be like 99.9% there, but everything is a bit messed up. So this is about kind of keeping your head above water, surviving, staying grounded, staying anchored, staying balanced, and actually keeping all the great stuff in, but removing all the negative stuff, keeping it out. You have got this sort of wall of wands around you, which is sort of just acting as a little bit of a guarded sort of energy to sort of remove anything a little bit negative. But I think it's, it's that whole thing, isn't it? I saw a thing on Facebook the other day where it was like a list of things. If you've got like, food in your belly, clothing on your back, water to drink, a roof over your head, you're richer than half the UK or half the world. And sometimes I think we take those things for granted, and it's stripping everything back to basics and recognizing that so many of us are already so much richer than we choose to acknowledge or that we choose to see. That card reminds us of that a little bit. So it's interesting that it falls in December as we wrap that year up as well. Oh, I feel exhausted now. So that is kind of the year in its entirety. I hope it helps. I hope it makes sense. I hope it gives you a little bit of something to work with. Obviously, because it is a collective energy, it's for all of us, then, be open to things changing or evolving slightly, but it just gives you a little bit of something to work with. So going to leave it with you, wishing you all a fantastic and magical Happy New Year. Stay safe and well. Enjoy what 2022 has to offer, and I can't wait to catch up and see some of you lovelies very soon. So take care. Much love and blessings. Bye for now.